You thought I didn't notice you, didn't you? You walked into the room and sat in the far corner, hoping no one would ask how you were really doing. You kept your head down, your smile faint and your heart quiet. Sometimes silence feels easier than trying to explain everything going on inside. But I noticed. I saw you, even when you felt invisible, even when your voice was too weak to be heard. I was there, watching, listening, caring. You've spent so much time trying to hold yourself together while almost no one realized how much effort it took just to show up. People only see the outside, the calm, the polite, the I'm fine. But I saw the tears you hid. I saw the strength it took to keep going when giving up seemed easier. I saw the kindness you gave even when you were running on empty, when your heart was aching for someone to offer the same to you. You thought you were hidden, but you were never hidden from me. I saw you when you were tired but still said yes. I saw you when you didn't speak up, not because you had nothing to say, but because you'd learned the pain of being unheard. I saw you help others while you were breaking inside, and I smiled. Not because I enjoy your pain. No, my heart breaks with yours. But I smiled because even in the silence, even in the unseen, you chose to keep loving, to keep showing up, to keep believing that maybe, just maybe, there was more. You didn't know that heaven leans in when noon else does. You didn't know that when you felt the most ignored by the world. You had my full attention, every breath, every glance, every whispered prayer that never made it past your lips. I heard it all and I smiled because you have no idea how much you mean to me. You still don't understand the weight your presence carries in rooms. You don't know how your simple gestures echo into eternity. The small encouragement you gave to a friend when you had none left for yourself. I saw that and I wrote it down. Yes, I write down your love. Not the kind that shouts from stages or floods the internet, but the quiet kind, the uncelebrated kind. The love that shows up without reward. The love that gives without asking. The love that believes even when the heart feels crushed. You have no idea how seen you are in heaven. You thought that what you did didn't matter, that your name wasn't known, that your heart could break and no one would seethe pieces. But I gathered every shard. I counted every tear. I recorded every moment. And when the world overlooked you, I leaned in closer. When no one clapped, I applauded. When no one cared, I held you. When no one responded, I whispered, "You are not alone." And Ismilid, because you made a choice to keep going, to still believe, to love when it's easier to shut down. That's the kind of heart that makes me smile. That's the kind of soul I build stories with. That's the kind of life that shifts atmospheres not by shouting, but by being faithfully kind when noon's looking. You've mistaken your quiet for weakness, but I call it holy strength. You've mistaken your invisibility for insignificance, but I call you my masterpiece. The world may measure by spotlight, but I measure by sacrifice. The world may value followers, but I value faithfulness. And when you gave me your yes, even when noon noticed, I noticed. I saw how you carried burdens that weren't yours just to help someone else breathe a little easier. I saw how you celebrated others while you were secretly grieving what you lost. I saw how you forgave people who never apologized. And I smiled because in a world obsessed with being seen, you chose to serve. In a generation chasing validation, you chose integrity. In a season where most would give up, you decided to press on. That makes you radiant in my eyes. You may not feel like much, but heaven calls your hour. You are not the forgotten one. You are not the overlooked one. You are not the invisible one. You are the one I see when the lights go off. You are the one I choose when the world turns away. You are the one I use when others think nothing's happening. Because I do my best work in hidden places. I shape my strongest vessels in silence. And I give my greatest revelations to those who stay faithful when no one's watching. So the next time you walk into the room and feel like no one sees you, remember Edo. When no one hears the weight behind your words, I do. When no one understands why you're tired, I do. And when you wonder if it's worth it, all the forgiving, the helping, the praying, the waiting, my child, it is. Because I'm writing a story in you. One the world needs, one heaven already celebrates. You've carried yourself with such grace even while unseen. You've smiled through storms that would have broken others. You've stayed soft when the world told you to get hard. That makes you priceless in my sight. And that's why I smiled. Because even when you felt invisible, you never were. Even when you felt small, you carried heaven's weight. Even when you felt forgotten, you were the one I remembered first. And I will never stop watching over you. I will never grow tired of lifting your head. I will never stop smiling when I see your name. Stay steady, beloved, because what I'm about to reveal through your quiet strength will silence every lie that ever told you you didn't matter. And when I bring you into the light, it won't be to make you famous. It will be to prove that he was with you all along. And yes, Ismailed, you didn't know it then, but every time you whispered, "God, do you see me?" I answered without a sound. I didn't speak with thunder. I didn't part the skies. But I wrapped you in small moments, moments you didn't even recognize were me. The unexpected peace in the middle of your anxiety. The soft breeze that dried your tears before they could fall. The stranger's kind words that echoed the prayers you thought ignored. That was me, my child. That was me telling you, yes, I see you. Yes, I'm still here. You never needed to shout for my attention. You already had it. The world trained you to believe you had to compete to be noticed, that you had to strive, perform, or prove your worth to matter. But in my kingdom, worth isn't earned. It's revealed, and yours, it's immeasurable. I never measured you by the volume of your voice, but by the depth of your heart. When you were left out, I drew closer. When you were misunderstood, understood completely. When they called you too sensitive, I called you deeply tuned. When they said you're overthinking, I whispered, you're discerning. You didn't know it. But I was protecting you in your invisibility. You thought you were being left behind, but I was hiding you from the wrong doors. The ones that would have drained you, silenced your light, crushed your spirit. I had to keep you hidden so you wouldn't settle for something beneath what I was building in you. I didn't let them choose you, because I was preparing something better. There is a reason I allowed you to feel unseen. Not because you're unworthy, but because you're sacred. Not because you're weak, but because your roots needed to go deep. Some flowers bloom fast, but they fade in the sun. But trees like you, the kind that weather storms, take time. So I kept you hidden while I strengthened you. I let your prayers deepen insolence. I let your faith be forged without applause. And I smiled, not because you were unnoticed, but because you were maturing. You've been asking, why hasn't it happened yet? But the truth is, what I'm doing in you isn't a performance. It's preparation. I don't build momentary sparks. I build legacy. You are not a one-time blessing. You area divine unfolding. Every step, every delay, every quiet season, I've been writing something in you that will outlast applause and approval. You're not being ignored. You're being prepared for something too holy to be rushed. You didn't see what I was doing in the background. You didn't know that when others were chasing the spotlight, you were sitting with me in the quiet, and I was planting wisdom in your soul. You didn't realize that while the world celebrated noise, I was forming in you a voice that would heal nations. Yes, I said heal nations, because what you carry isn't common. The reason your heart feels everything so deeply is because I gave you the gift of spiritual depth, and that gift was never meant to be hidden forever. You were never meant to stay invisible, but I had to teach you who you are without needing the crowd to confirm it. Because if they gave you a name, they could take it away. But the name I gave you, it's sealed in heaven. And I smiled because I saw you hold on even when nothing made sense. You prayed when the answers didn't come. You gave when no one said thank you. You believed when everything around you said stop. You stayed, my child. And that's what I reward. The staying, the remaining, the heart that doesn't need fanfare to stay faithful. You're wondering when your breakthrough will come. But the truth is parts of it already have. You just didn't recognize them because they came in the form of peace, not platforms. In the form of clarity, not crowds. In the form of me showing up again and again without needing to be announced. But now something is shifting because the season of hiding is not the end of your story. It was the beginning. And I'm about to bring you forward, not for status, but for impact. I'm going to use the very parts of you that were rejected. The parts you tried to silence just to fit in. The parts that made you feel too much for some and not enough for others. Those are the parts I've refined, not removed. Because what made others walk away is what makes me draw near. And soon others will see it too. You won't have to fight for a seat at the table. I'm building one for you. You won't have to beg to be noticed. I'm placing you where your light will speak louder than your voice ever could. You won't have to explain your worth. Your story will speak for itself. And the same people who overlooked you will witness my favor unfold in you. They won't understand how you remained so peaceful after being rejected. How you stayed kind after being hurt. How you kept shining after being dimmed. And they won't have to understand because I do. You never needed them to see you, my child. You only needed me, and I saw you in the early mornings when you whispered my name with cracked hope. In the late nights when your pillow caught what your friends never knew. In the in-between hours where silence met surrender. I was there. I was there when you almost gave up. When you said, "Lord, if you see me, give me a sign." And I did, not always in thunder, but in the still soft whispers of grace. You thought you were behind, but you've been right on time. Because your story isn't delayed, it's being unveiled. And every quiet season you endured, every tear you released, every moment you felt unseen, I have turned it into glory. I don't forget what people ignore, and my smile over you. It's not just a reaction, it's a promise. Because I will honor what others dismissed. I will lift what they tried to bury. I will bless what they called small. And I will reveal what I've hidden in you when the time is right. And child, the time is drawing near. So keep being faithful. Keep walking in the light no one else notices. Keep speaking truth, even when your voice shakes, because I am not done. I am just beginning. And even now is mild because I know what's coming. And I know who you are, even when you don't. You've walked through quiet seasons like a warrior dressed in grace. You've endured storms without loud complaints. You've built altars in places others passed by. You've stayed faithful in rooms where no one clapped. And through it all, my eyes have never left you. I watched you when you doubted yourself. I watched you when your prayers felt small. I watched you show love when you felt unloved. And every time you wondered, God, am I doing enough? My answer echoed through eternity. You are me delight. You don't know how powerful your hidden obedience has been. But in heaven's chambers, your name is not whispered. It is declared. You thought your quiet yes didn't echo, but it moved angels into position. You thought your silent tears went unnoticed, but they watered the very ground you'll soon walk in victory on. You thought being unseen meant being unworthy, but I hid you because you were already anointed. And now I say this, the veil is lifting. The covering is shifting. The silence is breaking because the season of invisibility has served its purpose. The same voice that was overlooked, I will amplify. The same hands that were weary, I will strengthen. The same heart that was broken, I will heal and fill with fire. You will not emerge timid but radiant. You will not step out ashamed but crowned. Because when I raise someone, no one can push them down. I don't lift based on popularity. I lift based on purity. And your purity in the shadows has touched my heart deeply. So I will go before you. I will open doors no man can close. I will release favor that confuses those who ignored you. I will place you in rooms not for status, but for purpose. Because I am not just restoring what you lost. I'm multiplying what you carried alone. Your voice will be heard. Your gifts will be seen. Your tears will be turned into testimonies. Your rejection will become your redirection. You won't have to force anything. You won't have to explain how you got here. You will only need to stand, and I will shine through you. Because when I shine, no shadow remains. And child, you are about to step into a season where shadows can no longer hold you. Yes, they said you were quiet, but now I'll make you a trumpet. Yes, they said you were too soft, but now I'll make your compassion a sword. Yes, they said you weren't ready, but now I'll show them you were mine all along. And every moment you felt invisible was me preparing a place no one else could fill but you. I formed you in silence so you could roar in purpose. I anointed you in pain so you could lead with healing. I walked with you in loneliness so you could walk others into freedom. You are not just seen, you are chosen. You are not just known, you are set apart. You're not just healed, You are whole, so rise, beloved. Step forward with boldness. Not because you are loud, but because you carry light. Not because they finally see you, but because Eneva stopped and I smiled. Not just because of what you did, but because of who you are. You are light in dark places. You are love in dry lands. You are my vessel, my voice, my victory in motion. And now the same child who once whispered, "God, do you see me?" will become the one who shouts, "Look what the Lord has done." Let the world watch, let heaven rejoice, let the shadows break, because now is your time. And as you walk forward, never forget. Even when you felt invisible, I saw you. I was proud of you. I loved you. And Ismiled. If this word touched your heart, type Amen in the comments. To stand in faith with your Christian family, let's flood the atmosphere with light. Subscribe to Jesus' blessed message, where heaven's voice is louder than the noise of this world. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are divinely chosen for such a time as this. Now walk in it and never forget. You made Mesmal.